You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Black Sails After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Black Sails After Show.
There it is. There's that music I love so much every week. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the AFTERBUZZ Studios Black Sails Recap Show, Episode 3, or I.
Yes.
I think that joke's not going to get old.
Nope, we're going to keep it going.
Welcome. I'm your host, Ryan Hooks. Today we will be talking about not just another pirate show, but the pirate show. Ladies and gentlemen, joining me on the panel here today, we have Miss Roya Taheri.
Hello, everybody. I'm here.
Mr. I didn't even care. I'm so excited that I can't even wait till you finish talking. Special guest today, Mark Ryan.
Hello, Ryan. How are
Hey, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, you're very
I caught you off guard with that quote at the beginning, didn't I?
Ah, yes. I was very proud of that.
Yes, not just another pirate show, but the pirate show. Quoted at the Comic-Con.
In New York, indeed.
Yes. So, welcome. Thank you for joining us here today to talk
You're
about
more than
Gates,
welcome.
talk about Black Sails, talk about everything we love about pirates.
Yes.
Let's get into this.
First time, I gotta say, oh, sorry. Scared you.
It's all the energy.
I'm
Crackling in here.
I'm really excited that you're one of the characters I actually like on the show, because it'd be really awkward if you're one of the other characters that I just can't stand. So thank you for being Gates.
Thank you for being the
playing him.
likable,
Yes.
trustworthy, ever-diligent Gates.
Yes.
Can you believe that? You know, I mean, I've been in this business 35 years, and I end up playing a likable pirate. And not just a pirate.
Yes.
But a likable, friendly, loyal pirate.
We like that, you know?
Yeah. You know.
So actually, I want to go right into a question immediately before I go into anything else. I had a fan tweet me this week about a question for you, and he wanted to know what it's like to be in a cast, in a show about pirates, where there's no clear heroes or villains.
I think that is one of the best elements of the writing of the show, is because it isn't clearly defined, as people aren't clearly defined. We all have different traits. We all have these different facets and little, things in our psyches which make us different and make us angels or demons. And sometimes, they come out of us as human beings. So I think that adds to the reality of it. Everybody's got some clash of ethical imperatives within their character at some point, like human beings do, and there is doubt, and there is mistrust, and there is misunderstanding, and there is anguish, and that makes it a drama more real to me. So I think it's a credit to the writing that
It's great writing. It totally explores the gray area, if you will, of life,
humanity, absolutely,
especially during this period of time where there was prevalence in the gray area.
Absolutely,
living the pirate life for me.
Pirate
jokes will never get old on this show. We try to limit them to at least 5 an episode or less.
So the intro one doesn't count, though.
Yeah, no.
The I.
That's
the title.
They didn't number the show appropriately with titles. They gave me Roman numerals. So next week I'll have to come up with something else, because there'll be an IV, which won't play.
No, it will. I'll make it happen.
It'll make it happen. Okay, we'll work on that for next week, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Make it happen.
All right. So let's talk about this week's episode.
Sure.
So you were obviously there during the filming. What did you think of this episode?
This was one of my favorite episodes for various reasons, not least of which was the negotiation scene. And I love working with an ensemble where you're bouncing things off each other and you actually get to ad-lib some stuff occasionally in this type of scene. And Neil Marshall, who was the director for this episode as well, is a wonderful guy and a good director. He allowed us to bounce off each other within the scene. And I love working with Toby Schmitz. He's a great deliverer of the little, quirky, humor type things. And to me, it was a fun scene to do, specifically when we went outside.
Yeah.
And what you can't hear is when on the second bit, John and Robert said to me, "Can you just go outside and ad-lib some stuff as if you are shouting at him outside?" And so I was screaming and shouting this stuff, most of which was, you know, too profane to be kept in.
Always.
There's other stuff in there, but I remember that I ended up we walked back into the scene, and the crew were curled up with laughter apparently because some of the stuff I said. So it was a great fun scene to do. Yes,
and we actually got 2 good scenes in this episode where there was a community of people talking, because also with the Silver storyline where he's creating the map for you guys and you're getting more information about the stuff he knows.
Right.
There's a little bit of a joke in there as well where Silver makes a comment, you know, you might kill me in 3 weeks, but you know what? We might be friends by then too.
And I like the fact that we got to explain some of the background with Hornigold, who was also a real historical character. And so that explains some of the background, their relationship between Gates and Hornigold, that he was, you know, one time he was his quartermaster, you know, and they have a relationship. So these people are slowly building these layers of both political and social.
So this is not the end of the Royal Lion, because it kind of fell off at the end of the story. We kind of disappeared.
I think you'll find that it comes back. I think you'll find that the Royal Lion is very much a part of the storyline in the later part of
if we need a pirate ship battle, we need at least 3 major pirate ships.
You know, hey, my lips are sealed on that one. But
absolutely.
Good try. Good try.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to keep trying, too. That's what we do here. Keep plugging away. All right, so in this episode here, we had a couple of good storylines. And we're developing a lot more characters, a lot more plot. Look at that. So we meet Miranda, who we met at the end of last week's episode. And in some fashion, we feel like she's a friend. But in some fashion, there's comments about her maybe being slave-like.
Or is she a sister? A long lost. Am I really reaching for that? I might be really reaching. But I kind of got the vibe. There was a sexual tension, but then there also wasn't sexual tension between them.
Well, there's 2 things that I would say that make me want to argue that.
Okay, go for it.
So the very, very end of the episode, Flint shows up, takes her into the bedroom, shuts the door.
Doesn't mean anything.
Doesn't mean anything. However, throughout this show, as I've commented on the last few episodes, there is a great amount of commentary that is political, based on either monarchies or, you know, democratic, that sort of thing. She comments several times about Marcus Aurelius in this episode. They read Marcus Aurelius with Guthrie, and she also reads a quote from it. Marcus Aurelius was famously known as a Roman Empire leader who got in his position based on the women that were around him. So is she the woman that's around him that's causing him to be in the situation he's in, the power that he has, basically?
Still doesn't really argue my point, though.
But it does create turmoil.
Was there Scrabble in Marcus Aurelius? I forget, you know, I can't remember that. Was there Scrabble in there?
Of course, there's Scrabble everywhere.
Yes, absolutely.
Just get some blocks. It's good to go.
I've got Wikipedia and Google. Tells me everything I need to know. So anyway, so we meet her and we get a little bit of her background, and we also get to see that Guthrie is back. Glad
Mr. Guthrie.
Mr. Guthrie.
Yes.
Sean is back.
I don't like that character. I don't like him.
No? We haven't explored him enough, I don't think.
I know, but his relationship with Eleanor really bothers me. You're supposed to be a father figure, and I want to know why he is the way he is to Eleanor. And
because in that period, it was very much socially the way it was. I mean, the women did not have the power that for the freedom that they do today.
But to me, it sounds like she could save him, and yet he doesn't want to take a part of that or help her, and so that kind of just, to me, bothers me. I should probably be looking at him. So.
There could be more to come, I would think.
I know.
I think this is a good situation that he's in with Miranda here, because I think she's going to have a big influence on him. You know, because she's the woman in power. We've got a lot of powerful women in this show, which is great.
Yeah.
And they're very strong actors, they're very strong characters. And I think that she's going to have a big influence on Guthrie and maybe changing his mind. And we might see a good side of Mr. Guthrie to come.
Well, when that happens, then I'll let you know.
You'll let us know how you feel.
I wish that bullet went a little bit more to the left of him. So
I think that relationship will be revealed in the next couple of episodes of why their relationship is as strained and as difficult as it is. And obviously, Eleanor's trying to build this her own business, you know, which at the time, again, would have been quite a task against this machismo society of pirates running around. But there were a lot of strong women. There were a lot of female pirates as well. So,
and especially in the town that they're in. I mean, this is a very male-dominated society, especially because they're all pirates. And, you know, to have this woman who's in power and basically running the island by the way it looks is probably rubbing them the wrong way a little bit. And I think we learned a little bit more this week, too, about their history and their relationship, because she commented on, you can stay here and I can help you and we can do this together, or you can go back to Boston and you can be chastised by your family, your father and your brothers, who are going to leave you outside to listen through the doorwell because you're not in the business, you're just a little nothing to the side. So, I mean, is it him trying to prove things? Did
you memorize this dialogue? Did she do this every show?
Every time. That's why I love just being on this side and just listening.
I do have a very photographic memory.
I'm very impressed.
Yeah. I have a really bad memory, so it's perfect.
See, I mean,
memorized the whole thing here.
Maybe I read it online. Who knows? I stole it out of your car.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah. So I mean, and so there's some commentary there about that past, and it could be very much while he's trying to be strong-willed as to what he's doing, and you know, he drug his wife and Eleanor to this island to prove himself in some fashion, I would say. So, I mean, I think there's some dynamic there that we're gonna have to look into more.
Well, I want to see it, and when I see it, then I will.
I'm willing to bet that you will.
Okay. Well, I would. Yes.
So I want to know too, with this Miranda thing, we have this situation where she is talking to the pastor who shows up. Do you think that that's part of a major plot line that's coming up? Because apparently he shows up every single week on Wednesdays, and she welcomes him with tea this week instead of acting surprised. And they talk about a sermon, and they're talking about love and sacrifice. So is there foreshadowing with sacrifice to come? But
the thing is, when she mentioned that to him, that, you know, she expects him, she brought tea this time, she knew that the sermon, the guy had had someone watching over.
Yeah.
Because she mentioned that to Flint in the very beginning. Oh, someone else must have spotted you come in, because now he's sent this person to watch over. So she knew he was coming, and she knew what she had in her house. So maybe there's more to it. Maybe I lost your question. I'm sorry.
No, it's good. That's great, because maybe to keep him out of the house, so that way they can keep Guthrie hidden in the house.
And then she fixed her shirt to make a little more bosom for him to see. Maybe, I don't know, but he kept looking.
Distract him.
Do what you got to do. Yeah. Here's some tea and some bosom.
And talk about it too. To make it even more obvious.
The question is more targeted at the sermon and how she comments on, you know, the writings of the Bible and the sacrifice basically that Jesus made in the Bible, and it was the suffering was for mankind. But she commented on, do you believe that? Is the suffering that's happening, is it necessary?
I think she's got an interesting voice in the show, the character. She's got this, again, almost got a foot in both camps, where she's trying to stand by Flint, and this will be revealed during the course of the future episodes, but she also understands the situation that she's in. Yeah. Within all of this, you know, tucked away on this small island in the middle of nowhere, and dealing with what could be described as hypocrisy. You know, there's a lot of hypocrisy as well as intrigue going on, and gossip. They made a big thing about gossip at the time. So she's got an interesting voice in the show, Miranda Barlow. And I think she's well played as well. She's,
as are all the female characters in this. Oh. I mean, how does it feel to be around all these great female actresses that are showing people up on stage, you know?
Oh, it's great. I love it. You know, I love being in the middle of all that stuff. It's terrific. And particularly Jess is one of the... She's such
talking about Max.
Oh, Max. She's so good.
Yeah, she was great this week.
She's such a good little actress.
So we've got a lot of good women here, and we're getting some good reviews, as you and I were talking about earlier today. So this week we saw viewership of episode 3. We have yet to get numbers. We'll talk about next week. But last week, episode 2, we saw that since episode 1 has been released, 6 million people have tuned in and checked out episode 1, which is great. And also with last week's show, it was during the Super Bowl over the weekend, but they still maintained a 93% viewership for the weekend with 2.3 million viewers, and also a 99% viewership retention on the premiere day. So on Saturday night when the show came out, 99% of people that watched last week watched this week.
Right,
which is awesome, which is huge, because
it's phenomenal.
That's what we need people to keep watching. And I love the quote. That's why I started with it, because you know there's a lot of stuff on TV right now, and I watch a lot of TV. I host a lot of shows here at AfterBuzz, but there's nothing like this right now.
It's unique, and we said this, you know, at both San Diego Comic-Con, where the reaction was just phenomenal, and in New York. And it's interesting to me how these things unfold. And we talked a bit about outside, about there were some people thinking, oh, there's going to be an explosion every 30 seconds because it's a pirate.
Because of Michael Bay.
Because it's Michael Bay. And then when you actually, it is revealed to be a paced and complex drama within a pirate show. People are going, oh, but we're waiting for the ships to come back and blow each other up again. You can't please everybody.
Right.
But it is a show, the story arc over 8 hours has to reveal slowly these people, their relationships with each other, how they interact politically and socially. You have to do that. You have to establish who these people are in this world, and that takes a little time. But as I said to you, you know, don't get lulled into a false sense of being comfortable, because there's
there's pirates to come.
There's pirates to come. Yes.
Yeah, and I actually commented on that last week. An article that I read by the producers, it was talking about they were trying to create this development of characters, and they want you to associate with them so that when it comes time for this stuff to happen, you're going to associate with those characters, and you're going to see what they feel and what they fear with what's going on, what it's like to take a ship and be in that situation, be scared. And they're really wanting people to connect to those characters. So,
I think John hit the nail on the head. He said in one of the conventions, one of the talks we did in interviews, he said, you think you know this world because you've seen stuff about pirates. People think they know this, but really it's an area that's not been dramatically explored,
not at all,
in depth at all. And so that's why there's nothing like it on television at the moment, is because the depth of this history, the intrigue, the different spiritual, political relationships between the countries that were waging war against each other during this period is immense. It's epic. There are epic tales. And so I think John hit the nail on the head with that when he said that. You think you know it, but really it's not an area that's been historically explored much in drama at all.
And I think with a lot of the reviews that I read, that's the part that I would disagree with the most, in terms of I like the show for that aspect, for the layers and for the drama and for the character development, because that's what sucks you in. And that's what makes you want to keep coming back every single week and watch next week's episode, because you want to find out, you know, is Gates going to be captain of a ship? You know, is Silver going to do something to make himself stand out even more and survive? You know, is Flint going to kill somebody? So that, again, that's what
somebody else.
Yeah.
Somebody else. Are Flint and Vane finally going to go round and round?
That was a chilling scene. Let me tell you, I was there and watching that scene, and there are some scenes that are so well done that you kind of sometimes go, whoa, that was. And I got quoted in an interview because somebody said, what was that like? I said it was genuinely disturbing. I mean, I've choreographed big sword fights, big battle sequences where I've got arms and legs flying in all directions. I've Keira Knightley stabbing people in the throat, and big stuff.
Little King Arthur for everyone there.
All over the place. Yeah, but that was actually genuinely watching Toby do that. And what you can't see was the dummy's head that was built like a skull for that. Toby punched it in. He literally punched in the plastic model skull of the body. And everybody was going, oh my, he'd really got into it. And his hands, after he finished, his hands were swollen. And we had to put him in ice because he was,
smashing the cannonball.
From smashing the dummy's head in. And it was genuinely scary to watch him do it. It was great performance. Fantastic acting.
That's what we love. Smashing heads in with cannonballs.
It's like the scene in the show tonight, the rape scene. I couldn't watch it.
That was a very chilling scene, even knowing it was fake. And
we were there waiting to do our stuff, and I said, I'm sorry, I can't. I'm gonna wait over there.
Come back to us, and you can film us aside.
Yeah,
because you guys were filmed at a different angle.
It's brutal. It's a brutal scene.
Well, I don't know how to follow that other than talking about iTunes. I love transitions. It's my favorite thing in life. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning into the Black Sails After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. You want to check us out, find out more, you can check us out on iTunes. You can go on, you can rate our show, you can leave us questions, comments. We can get more questions from Mark Ryan even after he leaves. We're getting a lot of communication out with a lot of people in this show. So if there's something you want to know, let us know on iTunes. Check us out. You can rate us, give us a 5-star. Make us the most watched Black Sails recap show on the web by rating us and letting us know what you think.
Go for it.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, we were almost there. We were at number 4 at one point for top downloads at AfterBuzz.
All right, yeah. Number four last week on the rankings here. There's 67 AfterBuzz TV shows. We go over 100 countries worldwide. All free content for you guys because we're here for the fans because we're fans too.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, so am I.
Absolutely.
So am I. And again, I've said this publicly. I do a lot of these conventions and stuff like that where, obviously for Transformers, but I'll probably now will do for Black Sails. And I grew up with Star Trek and Doctor Who and The Man from U.N.C.L.E. and, Land of the Giants and Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. I love that stuff. So for me, it's very exciting when I go to these conventions. There's actually people there that were in the show.
But you love those Doctor Who characters.
I go up. I knew John Pertwee. He was a great guy. So I love to go up to people that I saw when I saw you as a kid. You scared the crap out of me.
You're part of the reason I've been doing this for 30 years.
Well, yeah.
I mean, we all have those early influences that make us want to jump in this business, and here we are, you know. So, back to these lovely scenes from Black Sails television show. Absolutely. So, yeah, we had 2 great scenes in this episode, I think, that really stood out to me that were the less dramatic. The confab scenes, if you will, where you're debating the monetary values of what's going to happen when the treasure's found.
Right.
Because we need more crew, we need more ship, we need more men. Basically, this isn't going to happen without the help of someone else. So you suggest, after your conversation, that you could potentially seal the deal and captain the Royal... Help me out here.
The Hornigold ship.
The Royal Line, yes. Hornigold's ship, the Royal Line. But there's a little bit where you maybe get down on yourself and maybe you're a little too old to be a captain now.
That was, again,
Calico
Toby
Jack.
Schmitz. There was that. I'll say this because it's true, and a big shout out to Toby Schmitzy. That we did that scene, and what you don't see at the end of the scene. I know at some point in the proceedings they'll do you know the extended version where you'll see the bits that they couldn't compress into the episode. But actually, what happened at the end of the scene was he finishes that, and I turn down and we sit down and look at each other across the table, almost as if I am surrendering and going, I know you're right. What are you suggesting? What are we going to do here? And it was like a little button on the scene, and maybe when they do the extended version on the DVDs, they'll put that in. But at one point, Neil wanted me basically to tear up during the scene. And so actually there was an actual a version of it where I sat there and I actually just had a little tear ran down my face. And at the end of it, when we did the cut, I think we did like 3 or 4 takes of it, and Neil was very happy with it. On the last cut, the cast and crew applauded, and I was sitting there going, you feel a bit sort of, self-conscious, but I knew it was a good scene.
Yeah, it was a great scene.
And Brad Fuller, who's Platinum Dune's man on the set. And he's one of the exec producers of this, and a very good man. He was out there with us for quite a while. He came over to me and he went, "Well done. That was a pretty moving scene."
And you could feel that in the scene where you could feel like you were, am I too old for this at this point to be this captain, and is this something that's a good idea for us to help us achieve our goal?
But the secret is, acting is like a really good game of tennis, or playing against anybody that's better than you or as good as you. You play out of your skin. It's like me working with Toby Stevens. You play. It's off each other's strengths. And so I said to Brad, I said, yeah, but you've got to have somebody to play with. And if it wasn't for Toby, I couldn't have got where you wanted me to go, because you need this
somebody to push you there.
To push you there. And so Toby did that scene really, really well. He's an excellent stage actor, and as well as a screen actor, he's had a lot of experience on stage, and so he's really honed his craft. And that made that, to me, that made that scene work. So maybe one day it'll be in the extended version.
I would hope so.
The tearful version there.
We'll save that for the next year's parts coming out when they advertise for season 2.
Yeah, well, we'll see. And you'll see what happens. It'll unfold. Mr. Gates becomes Captain Gates. I'm not giving anything away there, but
well, and it sets up this great scene. So now we have to come up with this new partnership. So we have a meeting with Eleanor, with Captain Vane, with Calico Jack, Gates, and Flint, talking about this partnership.
Right.
That was one of my favorite scenes in this episode. Just the going back and forth, and then when Gates would pull Flint out in the back and start yelling at him like he was a child. I was like, oh man, it was just great. It's like, maybe I didn't tell you this right. Maybe I didn't tell you this right.
Yeah, you misunderstood what we were talking about and why we're here.
Yeah.
Right.
The entire meeting, not just the beginning.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we immediately have to try and make this thing work. That's why we're here. You agreed to be here, so let's try and make it work.
And then when Flint does it again, Jack goes, "I'll give you a minute."
Go ahead. Take your time.
He played that so well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, we got it. And there was a really funny comment then too from Vane to Eleanor when they're in there by themselves. Are you surprised that I'm the only one that's in here behaving? Because he sat in the corner the whole time and was quiet.
Which the whole time he was doing that coin thing, I kept thinking Pirates of the Caribbean, because of Jack Sparrow would do that with the coin.
There was a big discussion about that. I mean, and I think as Zach was practicing that, it was discussed about would it be too much Pirates of the Caribbean, because Sparrow does that, and I don't. Obviously, they decided they weren't worried about that, so they kept it in.
It's a cool little character twitch. I mean, if you think back to other actors, Val Kilmer has done that in several movies, most notably as Doc Holliday in Tombstone, where he does the little coin thing, but he did it in the 80s, and he played in Real Genius. So, I mean,
He's not a pirate, though.
I know, but it's been done in the cowboy genre, it's been done in the college drama, it's been done in pirates. Right. So
I know, but if you're trying to, for the whole pirating and like pirate and trying to be trying to be the pirate show, and you want to stay away from Caribbean of the Pirates or whatever, you know, Pirates of the Caribbean, wrong way, then that was an interesting version that they went that way, that they actually did that.
I think it was just a personal little thing that he wanted to do. It's like me and the tattoos, you know, again, when you're trying to flesh out a character, and it's a unique character there's nobody seen before, and it's the first time for an audience to get into a character's head, if you like. You know, an actor tries to bring little things to it that he personally can add to it, like the tattoo. You know, I wanted to do that, and
I was actually going to ask you about that.
That was my question.
The tattoo on the knuckles, and you got that on the back of your head.
So, what does that tattoo mean?
Well, for me, it was part of historically what happened was the Tudors, Elizabeth first, when she originally brought the privateers to bear in terms of waging war around the world against the Spanish, the French, the Dutch, and just about everybody else. They had an agreement. They were allowed, the guys were allowed to go sailing the seas and attacking foreign shipping willy-nilly when they wanted to, and they were given letters of marque to show that they'd been given permission by the English royal house to do that. Once it became politically expedient that that shouldn't happen, and they made peace treaties with people, suddenly those guys were outlaws, and they became pirates as opposed to privateers. And a lot of the secret societies, if you like, that were involved with shipping originally, like the Knights Templar, who had entire fleets of ships, then were excommunicated, of course, in the 12th and 13th centuries. They were the people that really understood shipping and seagoing trade and seafaring. They brought the astrolabe, I believe, with their trading associations with the assassins, the cult of the assassins. They had a lot of swapping of ideas, spiritual and medical, you know, and navigational aids. And so it was a quiet nod. It's the Eye of Horus. I've had people going to me, well, it's a Masonic thing. It's to do with, you know, the Illuminati and all that. It's not. It's to go back to the Eye of Horus, which is a protective symbol, and also a concept of, you know, having a protective eye around you, looking around you all the time. And so, but the reason it's in the triangle is because just it's a nod to the societies that did that. That's all.
Yeah, and I actually commented a little bit on the very first episode, because it starts off with a quote and talking about pirates being enemies of all mankind.
Right. Because
they were originally hired by the English to, you know, to stop shipping from the Spanish.
Right.
Attack their ships and take their stuff.
And in the conversation with Hornigold, where he's talking about your friends in Edinburgh, you know, I actually talked to John about this. I said, are we talking about our friends in Edinburgh? And just outside of Edinburgh is a place called Roslyn Chapel, which is one of the original homes of the Knights Templar. And I said, are we talking about our friends in Edinburgh, or are we talking about his friends of James? And so we talked about that for a while. We said, which way to play it? And he said, well, keep it in the middle. So we kept it in the middle. So it's got like a little double meaning. That it's about, yes, it's about James's supporters, but it's also about our other friends.
Our other friends in power, right?
Yes, our other friends in power, secretly, yes.
So, and actually, with that, you're talking about getting into characters that no one has ever seen before. One of the things I've commented a couple times that I really like about this show is there's nobody, in terms of the actors that play the characters, that are like, that would stand out to me that I would know them from any other role. So do you think that that's been a part of the success of this show? I mean, everyone's done a large amount of things, but there's nothing like, you know, you see a Johnny Depp character, you think of him as Jack Sparrow, but there's no actors in this show that I would think of immediately from first seeing them from another role.
I guess it's kind of interesting. I never thought about it in that way. I know that Zach obviously is well known to
Zach McGowan
because of but Zach McGowan is known because of Shameless.
Shameless, yeah.
But this character is 180 degrees in the
totally
opposite
different
direction.
Right? The long hair and
completely
still dreamy, but you know,
different,
shirtless
different
and
character. And obviously, Toby Stephens was known for his bad guy in Gustav Graves in
Die Another Day.
Die Another Day. But we all look so different. I guess I've got association with Transformers and Robin Sherwood and various other shows that I've been involved with. But this is a completely different
look. It's a totally different look for everyone. So there's nothing that stands out. Do you think that, again, has to do with the success then? Because, you know, sometimes you see a show and you see an actor that you know from another show. You're like, oh, that's the actor from that other show. And sometimes it's hard to associate with that character because you think of them as somebody else.
I think when you are originating a character for a show like this, a lot of care, and I have to say, when we got to Cape Town, a lot of care and time discussing costume, discussing tattoos, discussing bits of or even our weapons, the choice of the weapons that we carried, personal weapons on the set. A lot of time and energy was spent with that, personalizing it as much as we could, and lots of experiments we've done with shapes of beards and hairdos and all kinds of stuff to make it look singularly unique to that character for this show. And it's obviously paid off, because you're sitting here telling me that it looks different. You know what I mean? And it adds to the uniqueness of the show and helps, I think, the audience step into this world. And I can tell you, because of the sets, when we stood on those sets, when we stood on those boats, you were in that world.
Yeah, for sure.
You were taken there. It wasn't difficult. You were in a Nassau town of the 1700s where 360 degrees, you look around, you are in that town of that period. Sometimes you have to switch off and forget the green screen is
behind you a little bit.
Behind you. But for the most part, particularly on the boats, wow, when you stepped onto those boats and you're in costume and everybody's there and the ship's rigged and all the extras were there, you're in that universe.
And I read a really good article that commented on the grandness of the complex that you guys were filming on in Cape Town, that people would stop by because they thought it was a theme park and they wanted to come see it.
Well, you said a very interesting thing about looking out from the
in the scene when you're talking with Captain Hornigold, I made a comment when we were watching the show about how great the scenery was.
None of that's there. I mean, we are looking out over literally the African tundra, basically the African plain, with the township of Khayelitsha about 2 miles in that direction, an airport over there, a freeway over there, sometimes earth movers and diggers and construction things running around all over the place until you shoot action, everybody stops. So, you just have to kind of blot that out, have a mental green screen, if you like, and be in the ball of consciousness with the other actors and just forget that that's there. But I mean, that is a testament, as far as I'm concerned, to the genius of those guys at the CGI that have done that work. I mean, that looks, you would not know when you look at that is, as I'm describing it,
you never know there was a green screen. I thought it was totally a great view off the top of a castle, looking out into some boats.
And the castle's not there either, so I can tell you that. I walked up a path to a scaffolding thing with a little thing on the top of it, so that's all CGI. And fantastic work.
It's very well done, for sure. I comment a lot. I watch a lot of TV, like I said, and I have a really high definition television. So for me, it's good because I can see a lot of times what's been faked, because my TV shows the details so realistically that sometimes green screen work looks overdone and looks fake. And watching the show, I've yet to say, hey, that doesn't look fake at all. So it's great work for them, and definitely nods.
Ryan approved.
It's Ryan approved.
If it's Ryan approved, then it has to be good
TV.
Future.
One of the interviews I got asked about what difference this show will make to television, and I wasn't being pretentious about it. I think that what's being shown in this show is the future of where cable television and television will go. This is an 8-hour film. Every episode looks like it's cost $200 million, and the production values are incredible. The acting's fantastic, and the depths of the story, the complexities of the character interactions are real and gritty, but are fascinating to watch. It's a bit like watching, people say about watching a road accident or something. You
can't look away.
You're going, but you can't look away, and that's part of the elements of it. But this process started 30 years ago with Robin and Sherwood, with Showtime and Robin and Sherwood, and a very good friend of mine who was in that business then prophesied then that one day cable TV would be the deliverer of high quality, high definition drama to not just America but the world. And here we are. This is the reality. It's the new golden age of television.
And Starz even commented on that in a couple articles, because the show was obviously renewed for a second season before it was even aired.
Right.
So the 8 episodes were filmed, and they said, what, we're going to go ahead and back a second season of this. And they're saying that we're committed to this, and we believe in the show enough that we're going to put the money behind it and the time and budget behind it to make this show happen, and to make it look as good as it does. So I mean, that's great for Starz and them, throwing their hat in the ring and saying, "Listen, we're going to do this."
Well, you can't deny the numbers. Yeah, I mean, you said what 6 million.
Yeah, 6 million have already watched. It's only been about 3 weeks, so
the second one retained its original 98% or 90%.
99% retention.
The original audience watched it, even though the Super Bowl was on.
Yep.
And this weekend we've got the Olympics starting.
Yeah, and it only dropped 7% for the whole weekend.
Right.
Again, because 111 million people watch the Super Bowl.
Right.
So.
So I think people are willing to stick with things, see how they develop, choose the characters they like and the storylines they're fascinated by. I don't think they're as the attention span is when you're into this kind of drama. They want to go on that journey, which is going to take them, 8, 10, 12 weeks to find out who these people are and what drives them.
Absolutely.
And there's so many great characters on there for everyone to choose from, which is great. Just throwing that out.
No, it's great.
Sorry,
no. Excellent transition to my
awkward, quiet sounds.
We keep segueing into your questions for you. This is, I think,
you get disapproving
looks.
looks.
It's a mind thing, a mind meld. Yes. Are these things linked?
Because I want to get back to the story here.
Okay.
Because it's good. We've got this great transition here to more characters. Because we have this great scene with Max. Obviously she's been taken hostage after she tried to escape, even though Eleanor's people were watching, Vane's people were watching. She goes out and is immediately captured. Mm-hmm. We come and meet her as she's been tied up.
Well, no, I got a question though. Oh, I don't know if I should wait till the end until we get to that scene.
Oh, you just can't wait.
Okay. So my question is, Max says at the end when she goes back to Vane's side, "I lost your pearls for you. Not until my debt is done will I be done with what I owe you." Yep. Does that mean that she was caught because of the pearls and that because she was related to the stranger because they don't know who the stranger was that had the map when they were trying to do the deal, when Long John Silver had it. I call him Long John, sorry. But do you know?
He'll be Long John eventually.
Yeah. So she was at the boat where he was supposed to be. So did they already kind of figure out that she was tied into him?
Well, she's the reason that they went looking for the stranger who we know is John Silver.
Right.
And she's the deal broker, if you will, because they were there looking for that. The reason that Rackham fell into the water was because of that.
Lost the pearls, yeah.
So he lost the pearls that he had as their trade money, basically. So she's offering service to Vane and to the crew, basically to pay off this debt.
And she must obviously have another plan.
Yes, we'd hope so.
We would hope,
considering what they did to her.
We would hope for another plan. But I think that this is a twofold thing too, because obviously you're talking about another plan. This is definitely spitting in Eleanor's face, and the best way you can. Like you are trying to save me after you've thrown me aside again, and what can I do? Let's publicly humiliate you. Let's go over to the guy you just chastised and took his crew away.
Yeah.
And say, you know what? I'm going to work with him.
Yeah.
So.
And that Vane will take her right in because what Eleanor did to him as well, because he knows the connection between Max with Eleanor. Just saying.
And the reason he went in, and Calico Jack made that comment, just remember, Eleanor's going to, he didn't say it outright, but he said, who else is going to see this as you doing this thing for these people that could potentially benefit you?
Who else might look on you kindly? Yeah. Yes. No, that's exactly what he meant.
So, absolutely.
Yeah.
No subtleties there.
It was sad though when she was all curled up and he goes, "Why did you leave?"
Oh,
and she goes, "Why did you leave?" Or what was her response to him with that question?
It was your fault.
No, not that, not the rape scene. When we realize she's captured and she's kind of tied up, and he gives her the.
Oh yeah.
He said, "Yeah, why?"
What was the thing that she replied to him? She said,
"How did you feel when she threw you over?"
There Absolutely. It is. Yeah, exactly. And I was like, "Oh shit."
I mean,
so heartbreaking. Her heart is broken.
They have a thing now too. I think that puts them on common ground.
But she's strong.
Yeah.
For sure.
Even though she's got a broken heart, she's
got a plan. I like the relationship that we've seen develop with her and also with John Silver, because they're always scheming and there's always more to what they're doing, and I like that.
Yep.
I'm always about the scheming fellas. So, all right. You know what? It's all about survival. So.
Well, it's a tough world. Exactly. They're always got to have eyes in the back of their head, like Gates, and basically looking for the next opportunity to either make something or just simply to survive. That's part of the nature of the world they live in.
I agree. So, do you think that we've covered in depth enough of this episode, and we can get into this Mark Ryan interview that we need to do here?
Really quickly, let's talk about the rape scene.
No, let's talk about it.
Pointing out that the guy that was raping her was the guy that was demanding from Jack the pearls, or for him to get his money back. And when I saw that connection, I was like, oh, jerk and bad. Someone kill him, please. And then also Anne Bones when she was
Bonnie.
Anne Bonnie. Why did I write Bones?
Billy Bones. You're thinking Billy Bones.
Okay, Anne Bonnie. When she was standing behind the plaque or the board and she was watching this all happen, was that her being scared or was that her just not wanting to witness the whole thing?
When she was watching the actual...
She was watching it because she was kind of hidden, and then she almost went across to the other side away from Vane when Eleanor told them you need to choose a side.
And Vane threatened her and said, if you go over there, I'll kill you.
There is a character thread for Anne Bonny that will be revealed.
Okay.
I've been waiting for Anne Bonny.
And
I really have.
And so the elements of that what you're picking at there will be revealed in the next couple of episodes.
Okay.
But I think it'll answer the question.
So my red
why
flag.
why she is like she is.
Cool. So my red flag was a legit red flag.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Sweet.
historically, she is a very well-known, ruthless pirate. So
all of these
I don't think it's
clues
fear.
are dropped in there. You know, it's
Yeah.
a bit like unpicking a really tightly wound knot. But they're all left in there for you to dig at and
pick
go,
out.
oh, where is that going? That's the art.
Right, and that's actually, I even commented on that when we were watching the episode. And since then, there's a scene where Mr. Guthrie pulls a painting out from Miranda's behind her hutch. Yes, and there's a name on there, a Thomas Hamilton. But we don't know anything about that yet. So,
Not yet.
But it's dropped in there for us to think about. You can think all week about who is this
Who
Thomas.
is he?
Who is
Why is he so
Who
dreamy?
is that in that picture? Now you're gonna have everybody going back now and TiVoing the episode,
Rewinding
and
it?
Yes, rewinding it and looking at it to find out what does that say. Who is that? Who's in that picture? There might be a clue in that.
Well, I watch a lot of movies, and I'm a big fan of these subtle hints. And I look whenever I watch movies. Sometimes I stop watching the actors and actresses, and I start looking at the set, and I look at the things in the room because somebody spent a large amount of time figuring out what poster I'm going to hang on the wall, what piece of china is going to be on this table, how is this going to be laid out? Because there's always clues to what's going to happen in a show if you look around hard enough.
Well, every shot has a purpose, and especially if it's an awkward angle, and you're like, why are they shooting it from that angle when they can have an easy, straight, head-on shot? There's a reason behind it. Maybe they want you to see something in the background that they didn't have.
It's telling you a story.
Exactly. So,
And with Anne Bonny being subtly hidden behind that, maybe she's just trying to stay out of it as well. That could be her. You know what? I'm not here. I'm just going to stay right over out of the way.
or I mean, I'm gonna ignore you, so you don't have to feel like you have to say anything. Or maybe she's been in a similar situation, and it's bringing her back to a bad time frame of how she became who she is.
Well, the question I think probably you might want to ask is why did it look like she was either going to move forward and he says you move and you die? Where was she going? What was she going to do?
I think she was
Just survival.
yeah. go to
get her
the
own.
crew.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We gotta sell it.
Maybe not. You'll have to
So
watch.
question.
So yes. So let's talk about Mark Ryan. That's why we're all here, right? I mean, other than the amazing show Black Sails that we love so much. So you've been doing this for quite a long time, quite an extensive career in performing, leading all the way back to 1986.
Wow.
I did a little history here.
Or 1976, actually.
I'm
Well,
sorry.
that's just
The internet only
1978.
goes back to the 80s.
Yeah, no, go on.
So I'm curious, how did you get started into acting? Because a lot of your acting experience in the early part has been stage acting, musicals and theater and that kind of performance.
I started in the music business first. My father was a singer, a cabaret singer in Yorkshire, and I ended up doing shows at school, you know, Oliver and various shows like that. And just found that I had it came naturally to me. It wasn't something that I really had to work at that. How I understood it. And I remember standing, doing a school show once and being backstage and looking up at all the lights and the curtains at the back of the stage and hearing this buzz outside of an audience outside as they came in and sat. And I remember feeling very at home and going, this is where I want to be. I like being in that darkness, waiting to go on. And just feeling that moment of chilling your mind and stilling your mind, and walking out on that stage, it was like that, just like the light went on in my head. And it was a long journey to get there via singing and doing musicals, and eventually ended up in the West End. My first show was a show called Dean, about James Dean, and I played all the bad guys in James Dean's life. Did my first stage knife fight. That was the first fight I ever choreographed. That was about 76. 70, maybe 77, and the next one was Evita, 78, and I was the original Magaldi in Evita, and then I'm crossed over and played Che Guevara. I think I'm the only guy that ever got to play Magaldi and then directly go into playing Che Guevara. And that was directed by Harold Prince, and that was kind of the beginning of all of this mayhem. And then my first film was a film called Who Dares Wins. It was called The Final Option. It was about the Iranian embassy siege, directed by Ian Sharp, who then directed Robin of Sherwood, and that's how I got involved with Robin of Sherwood. So it's been a long roller coaster,
arduous journey, if you will.
Yeah, but you know, an eclectic mixture of stuff that I've ended up doing. It's choreographing fights and writing comic books or books about tarot cards and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely,
to me, it's all the same process, you know. But
no, I mean, and looking at some of the roles you played, I mean, you played Sky Masterson in Guys and Dolls, but then you toured with the Philharmonic playing Figaro.
I played in Don Giovanni. I played Leporello in Don Giovanni, and I sang Figaro in Figaro. We toured Germany in an English language version of it, Figaro and Don Giovanni. Yeah, it was absolutely mental.
Like one of the Twitter questions I got as well was about, they wanted to know more about your singing and your career. And I made a comment last week. I was like, it'd be funny if we like got a clip of music and just played it to see if he could sing the song from it. But
you know,
they warned me against that, and they said that they might not go over it.
I don't mind. I wrote a musical version of Wuthering Heights that's out there somewhere. If you Google Mark Ryan Wuthering Heights, there's a whole, well, we have 6 songs online, but I wrote the entire thing. There's a 20-song musical based on the story of Wuthering Heights out there. We're still trying to get it put together, and my very close friend Ray Winston narrates it on the
I love Ray Winston.
Ray's.
Did you first meet him on King Arthur, or was that?
No. We spent 3 years together on a show called Robin of Sherwood. He played Will Scarlet, and I played Nazir. So that's how far that goes back.
Way back.
Before King Arthur. Way back before King Arthur.
So you were just commenting on your first knife fight. Have you always been into swords and knives and stage combat and that sort of thing?
I was one of those very strange, you know, kids that really should have been sent to, you know, some place and explained that sharp, pointy objects are dangerous. And I literally, as a kid, was into swords. And really weapons of all kinds. I made stuff in the metalwork room. I was making swords in the metalwork room at school and down in the cellar in our house in Doncaster. I was just into it, and I think it was driven by... I was a big reader of Michael Moorcock's Elric books, and the whole idea of Stormbringer, the sword. I was taken in by all of that, and I just loved the concept of the sword as an art form as much as anything, and the different styles of swords. But they all sort of, all kind of weaponry just kept appealing to me. So I don't know what that says about me. Other than
no, it's fine. My first experience was stage combat. I played D'Artagnan in a production of Three Musketeers in 2007. And ever since then, I've been doing stage combat as well. So, you know, it's one of those things, you get it, and then it starts getting more, and you want more, and you want more. And obviously working on King Arthur. And even before then, doing work with, was it Knight's Tale?
Bob Anderson.
First Night, right?
I was approached quite bizarrely by Bob Anderson to be his assistant for First Night. So Richard Gere and I, we literally spent 8 months, Richard Gere and I, fighting at 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the afternoon, and watching. And for all the actors out there that think, you know, I'm just an actor, that's all I ever want to be, I just want to be in front of the camera. A little quick story. I had guys on that film come to me that I knew from Robin of Sherwood or from other things that I'd done in the UK, going, why are you not playing a part? And I said, because I'm learning more about the mechanics of working on a big film here with Bob than I ever will on that side of the camera. And that is absolutely true. The mechanics, and this has come in many times working on the Transformers films, understanding how a big machine, a big budget film works behind the camera, absolutely was one of the best educations I could get, both as a sword guy and doing all the work on the Transformers, but also as an actor, to understand what's going on that side of the camera is vital, you know. And it helps the directors, it helps the sound guys. If you technically understand lighting guys, if you understand lighting, it helps everybody. So, you know, I was very lucky, very honored to be asked by Bob, God rest his soul, and I never regretted it at all. It was a fantastic learning curve.
It's always nice to get all sides of the, you know, what's going on, so you can help in many aspects and multiple jobs, and it makes you marketable. And
well, and also, it's, to me, it's all this the same process. It's all part of the creative process, and I get as much of a buzz out of standing on a stage in the West End or touring with Eric Idle, like with Monty Python. And we ended up doing 2 nights, Carnegie Hall. We toured together, for 4 months, whatever it was. I get as much buzz out of that as I did watching Mads Mikkelsen, Clive Owen, Stellan Skarsgård, and all these people do fights that I'd choreographed. To me, standing in the tent watching those things being delivered by those actors, that to me was as much as
that's a great closing fight scene as well in that movie. Oh, and wow. This is the point where we need to make our Keira Knightley reference as well. Our weekly Keira Knightley.
Yes.
Go on.
No, this last week we made a comment about comparison of Eleanor, Guthrie, and Keira Knightley in terms of their look and sound, and I wondered if there was any reason for the casting of Hannah New in that role in terms of that look, but not exactly that look, or if it just was more coincidental.
I don't think so, and it's funny because Hannah and I have the same agent in London, and so we kind of knew people in the same sort of, and we were chatting about that, and it wasn't a mistake. I just happened to say to her, I said, "You do have a little bit of Keira,"
yeah,
and she was kind of
the
like,
jaw and the nose, and
try not to have that. And I said, "Well, don't take it as an insult, because let me tell you." Keira is a game girl. She's a hard-working girl, and she's not only a very good actress, but she can throw herself around the set with the best of the stunt guys. So I said, don't take it as an insult, Sure. And in fact, in King Arthur, when we were actually shooting some of those scenes, they had to tone it down, because I had her literally covered in blood and hacking people to pieces. And there was one scene where she actually comes up covered in blood after stabbing some big sacks into smithereens. And Antoine Fuqua turned to me, looked at me and went, "I guess she's not Elizabeth Swann no more."
No more. Absolutely not. No.
Covered in blood. It looked fantastic. It got cut out of the film. Anyway.
Why is they always cutting out the scenes where the women are covered in blood? Those are the best ones.
Oh, she was fantastic. Yes, no, she's very good. She was a good archer. I taught her archery as well. Coached her with that. And that's the other thing I do when I'm not, got nothing else to do in show business.
Why not sword fight a little bit?
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I actually got questions about the Black Sails, you being on Black Sails. You ready for them? Are you ready?
Far away, sure. Absolutely.
Done and done.
Are we going to learn more about Gates and what his history is on the show, or is it kind of what you see is what you get?
No. What you're going to get, and I can talk about it, but I won't give it away in detail, is for me one of the great pleasures of this. And in fact, Stanley Tucci on the set of Transformers 4 asked me about this when he was talking to Michael about the show, and Michael said, "Tell him." He was going, "I hear this thing's like amazing," and I said, "Yeah." We got talking about it, and I said, "We got to do a scene, Toby Stevens and I, which is almost a 9-minute dialogue scene. It's an argument, but it's a backwards and forwards about the tactics of what we're going to do. And it ranges over many subjects, and you get to hear their history played out within this conversation. And to me, it was so exciting to do a scene. And Stanley said, 9 minutes, you never get to do it. In a film, you don't get to do that, right?
An hour television show, you get
I
9
said,
minutes
and the tension and the backwards and forwards. And there's one other scene that we did, which is about 7 minutes long, where I get to do a monologue about the nature of a pirate's relationship, spiritual relationship to the ocean.
Oh, wow.
Talking about our relationship to nature, the ocean, death, life, everything. And it's all in that 2-minute monologue. And so you will hear that, and that explains some of their history together and why they're friends and loyal to each other. And what a great gift, to do in the show.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's like I said, for an hour-long drama, you get in a 9-minute scene or several-minute monologue doesn't happen a whole lot. So
no.
We definitely are looking forward to that then in terms of getting more history, more background, because we started to get it this week even. When you talked to Hornigold a little bit and the past relationship there, and then we see also that you have a great relationship with Flint because you're always going back and forth, that you even commented in this episode that you are of the same mind, that you guys are on the same page.
We're on the same, yeah. We share a shorthand, almost like a telepathy sort of communication, and a big shout out to Toby Stevens, because we'd never met. I'd been onto the set, fun enough, to have lunch with Bob Anderson when he was doing Die Another Day. And so Toby was there, but we never met. He was off somewhere else and was rehearsing, and we were having lunch. So it was kind of weird, and actually we brought it up the first night we went out, sat down, had dinner together, and talked about what we were going to do, how we were going to work this. I told him that story, and he went, how bizarre, how careers and lives.
It's weird how that works.
You know
right?
what I mean? How it
small
works. In the same place at the same time, probably with at one point Bob would have been literally talking to both of us maybe at the same time or something, and we literally hit it off the very first day. We knew what we were doing, and what glued it together was the sense of humour. And we had a lot of fun. We laughed from the first moment we got there in the morning. We'd start off taking absolutely the rise out of each other. And it went on all day, but it eased the tension on the set, you know, when you've got that kind of jokey thing. Except there was one day that we had a guest star come in, and there's another character that comes in later on, and we were just ripping at each other, sitting, because we'd sit side by side in the makeup room, and we were literally ripping each other and screaming with laughter with the makeup girls. And I just happened to catch this eye in the mirror around over there of somebody else, and he was literally looking at us like, are they like this all the time? Is this for real? What are they doing? And I just happened to catch his eye, and you could see him go look away really quickly, because he was like going, oh, I just got caught peeking. You know, it was like, no, they're like this all the time. It's non-stop. And we got permission to laugh by Brad, so it was cool.
As long as you got permission, then it's fine to laugh and have a good time.
Yeah.
One of my last questions would have to be, who is your favorite character, not actor, on this season? Or in the season so far?
There are so many great little character twists brought to the various characters who don't appear to be main characters. The cook, Randall. I mean,
I want the cat to come back.
when we did that in the read through, I almost fell off my chair laughing. It was like, are you for real? Very funny. And they brought all those little characters, bring out again a texture, a fleshy. They flesh it out by bringing something personal to it. So I've got lots of favourite characters, and probably like Randall, the ones you wouldn't think of. So you know.
No, we've been thinking about him all week.
I'm waiting
week.
for that cat to come back.
Yeah, with the cat from the first episode.
What wasn't eaten?
The scream.
The guy that did the fruit. Tits, plant. If you actually look at his face when he's doing it, the actual thought process that is going on, they're both the same. It's absolutely brilliant. I went, that is brilliant. I don't know if I could do it like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? He did it so well. It's like total confusion. They're the same. What's wrong with you? So there was lots of excellent little performances brought on by the South African actors that really, to me, make those characters that just maybe a day. They come in, they do a day,
one day, yeah.
But they changed the whole quality, the feel of the.
I actually tweeted out that picture this week, and I had people offer to buy it from me. They were like, "Where can I get this? I need it for my college dorm room." It was just the guy staring at the picture said, "Fruit, tits." Plants. I don't get it. And people were tweeting me about buying it. So, I mean, it must have stood out enough that it was that big of a deal.
Yeah. So, I mean, no, they've got lots of little. I couldn't go through the whole lot. We'd be here all night.
We got all time. How much time you got?
I'm here.
So that doesn't answer the question, though. What is your favorite? Oh, how about major character, then?
Oh, favorite major character.
We'll take out, not actor.
I'm happy Randall's one of them, though.
Yes, we'll take out minor characters. Favorite major character, it can be yourself. Not actor.
We wouldn't blame you. Yeah. You are a great character, so.
I loved it this week.
Look, I mean, I'll just say, I mean, Gates is a gift for any actor. To have a character where you get to be funny, aggressive. You haven't seen him lose his temper yet. You will. He's got to be cunning. He's got to have this 360-degree awareness of politically what's going on, and to have that as a character where you can play on all those notes and all those tunes in your head, it's an absolute gift. I mean, Snake, by the nature of some of the characters, they tend to be, they're playing down one avenue because that's the way they're written and that's where the character is drawn. This character is able to go all over the map. And so to me, that was a great a gift of a part to to be given. I guess I think Max is one of my favourite characters for lots of different reasons, not only because Jess is such a good actress. I mean, when she did that scene where she's crying and we go to get her, that was difficult. That was a difficult scene to do. And it was heartbreaking. She absolutely brought it to life. Everybody's good, though. It's such a good cast. And everybody brought their A game. There's nobody that didn't turn up wanting to do the best they could.
It's a great ensemble cast. That everyone stands out every single week, and everyone looks amazing every single week. So I think that's going to be a tribute to the show and how well it's being done, that they're getting this out of every character and how well it's been cast.
Yeah.
It's going to keep people coming back every week.
When we did the first read through, honestly, we all of the cast went outside. We were stood outside waiting to sort of, and we all sort of milled about for a bit, and everybody was going, "Can you believe this? Can you believe what we're involved with here?" I mean, there is a genuine sense of knowing that you're involved with something special, which is going to endure, I think, in people's minds for a long time. You know, and the last time this happened to me was Robin and Sherwin. When we did Robin, everybody knew that cast and what that show became. We knew we were gifted with this vehicle, you know, in this world to play in, and this is the same thing. This show has got that feel for me.
I agree. Even from the early trailers last year, when I was seeing stuff in July, August, September, talking about it, it had that feel that it's going to be something more than anything else that's out there right now. So, all right, I've got one final question.
One final question.
Maybe two or three. We'll see how it goes. So I want to know if there's anything you can tell us about Transformers, because everyone out there knows that you voice some of the characters on Transformers. And there any hints you can give us on what's going to happen in that?
I think this one is a different feel to the film. I think everybody that was
Mark Wahlberg, how can go wrong?
Fantastic. The cast again is you know, you've got Kelsey Grammer, you know, Stanley Tucci. You've got a great cast. Mark Wahlberg. Everybody's good in it, and you could feel it on the set. There was a different feel. So it's a continuation of the story, and this is the next chapter.
Are they taking it in a new direction, would you say, then? Getting away from the earlier Transformer movies and moving it into a new direction where they can continue the franchise from a couple more movies?
I think it's the next chapter in the story. I wouldn't say they're going to change big elements in it, because obviously they work, the characters work. And certainly Bumblebee and Optimus have this massive worldwide recognition and following. So you don't tinker with stuff too much, but you can take the story on to the next chapter, take the best elements of what was successful last time, and give it a slightly different flavour and send, like you say, send it off in a different direction. It was fantastic being on the set, very exciting. Once again, I love working with Michael. He's such a powerhouse.
Is this the first time that you've met? Like, did you meet Michael Bay through the Transformers movies?
Yes, from the very first one. I've worked on all four.
Right.
And in case people don't know what I do when I'm doing,
go ahead and do it.
I'm on the set. And I am all the robots during the filming of the robot scenes. I'm doing the dialogue with the actors, and usually, you know, they don't put me in a black suit with bobbles on it. And the ILM guys say stand there with a pole, and we've got it down to a fine art now, where I'm watching the DP's monitor and Michael's monitor, and Michael can give me directions, and I've got phones on so I can hear the actors and the mic, so that I can do the dialogue. Different pacings, different ways if he wants it a bit more aggressive. And so obviously sometimes I've done Optimus Prime. I am Optimus Prime. And do different voices on the set, and do different pacings so the actors can react in a different way. I'm there just to help the actors do the best when you're looking at a metal pole with a light on top. And so hopefully and I think we've done that quite successfully, and it's become, you know, a whole kind of technique of its own now, you know. But it's great fun, and I just love being, particularly in the post-production as well with Michael. We have a laugh. We have a lot of fun. He'll go, try that funny voice, do that other thing that you do, and we'll try different voices and different pacings, and then obviously he takes that and uses what he wants for the editing.
Perfect. All right, well, that pretty much sums up our time with you today, Mark. So thank you so much for coming in and spending
You
time
keep
with
looking
us.
around as if there's a clock that says
there is always a
we've
clock.
gone into overtime. Get Ryan out of here. Stop
it's cool.
talking, for God's sake.
But we do have a part of the show here at the end that we like to do every week. We call the AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Oh, the predictions.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay.
So can you give us any predictions for what you think is going to happen in episode 4?
Oh,
Without giving away too much, of course.
Well, I think, and now you've seen that it looks like Mr. Gates will become a captain in his own right for however long or for whatever purpose. That means he will have to pass on his quartermaster's job to somebody on the boat, and you'll have to work out, who that is going to be.
Who is it? Me? Is it me?
I think it's gonna be Billy.
You think Billy's being groomed to be quartermaster?
Billy's
I
being
do.
groomed.
Everything that Gates has been talking to him seems like he's groomed.
And a big shout out to Tom as well before we go. Tom Hopper, what a great guy. What a super
guy.
and a good actor as well. So yes, I would predict there's probably you can see a promotion in Billy Bones' future perhaps.
Perhaps. Roya, what do you think?
All right, I have it written down, which is great. Randall will show up with his cat. That's one I'm going to say. He's going to show up.
It's interesting that you should say that. And again, without trying to give anything away, we could predict that you might see the cat again. I'm not going to give the circumstances of how you're going to see the cat again.
I feel bad news either way.
No, maybe not.
There's
maybe
a stew in the future of the crew.
Yeah.
Celebration stew, if you will.
I could say that you could look out for that.
See, I'm not crazy talking about the cat and Randall. Just saying.
You're not like a crazy cat lady or
no,
not at all.
A little bit, no. I definitely think Max is gonna sleep with Vane. That's something she's gonna do to get back at Eleanor, and for Vane to get back at Eleanor.
Ooh, dear, that's a wild one.
Yeah.
That is a wild one. Okay.
I felt that at the end of this week's episode that was coming. That there was going to be some.
No pun intended, right? No,
Wow.
Oh, well done.
and then I think Eleanor's father is going to sneak out and pointing in an arrow, which shows me nowhere, is going to sneak out of the house, and someone's going to find him, and that's just going to lead to another issue.
And see, I disagree. I think that we're going to see more with Guthrie and Miranda, and I think it's going to help change Guthrie's appearance in the show.
I hope so, because I'm
the way
not a
he
big fan
treats
of
people.
him.
Do you think, let me plant this seed in your head, do you think that Mr. Guthrie is duplicitous?
Yes.
Well, then there might be some skullduggery that goes on. I'm
Little
not
skullduggery is all we need in
I'm
the
not
show.
saying any more. But yes, I would say that's possibly in somebody's future.
Well, all right, then. There you have it. Firsthand, Mark Ryan. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in this week to the AfterBuzz TV Black Sails.
Guys.
Mark, tell us where the viewers can find you if they want to find out more information about them.
Oh, well, I Twitter. I'm Mark Ryan 243 on Twitter, and we're all twittering like crazy for Starz to help, keep the thing, rolling on. But I have my own website, themarkryan.com. You can come by and say hello there. There's a Wildwood Tarot site that I've written 2 books about tarot, so you can catch up with the blog there and drop onto that site. And if not, I'm kind of all over the net, really, roaming around. I do a thing called Combat Radio on Fridays with Ethan Denton, my LA Talk Radio. We do a show there, do a lot of charity work, all kinds of stuff. So I'm out there, trust me.
All right, there you go. You can find Mark Ryan. Roya, where can we find you at?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at HeyRoya. That's HeyRoya.
And as always, you can find me at RyanHooks92 on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and Yahoo. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you next week with episode 4.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.